There comes a moment in life when you realize they can't control you anymore. And it's not because they changed. It's not because they stopped trying. It's because you finally decided to respect yourself. When you respect yourself, you stop handing out discounts on your worth. You stop letting people use you, manipulate you, or make you question who you are. You stop being available for disrespect, because self-respect sets a new standard. One that says, if you can't meet me here, you don't get access to me at all. Respect is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's knowing your value and refusing to shrink to fit inside someone else's box. The moment you choose self-respect, you break free from control, because control only works when you doubt yourself. They controlled you through guilt. They controlled you through fear. They controlled you through making you believe you weren't enough. But now, you've outgrown that version of yourself. You know your boundaries, you know your worth, and you know that walking away is sometimes the most powerful thing you can do. Self-respect is freedom. Freedom from needing approval. Freedom from chasing validation. Freedom from explaining yourself to people who never intended to understand you. And here's the truth. When you finally respect yourself, you don't have to demand respect from others. You carry it in your energy. You show it in the way you speak, the way you act, the way you move through the world. People have no choice but to adjust, because control only works on the person who doesn't see their own power. Self-respect sets boundaries because it teaches you where the line is between what you allow and what you will no longer tolerate. Without self-respect, you leave the door open for people to treat you however they choose. You accept less than you deserve, you bend your standards just to keep the peace, and you let others decide your worth. But the moment you respect yourself, everything changes. You stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to stand tall. You start drawing clear lines, and those lines become the boundaries that protect your energy, your time, and your peace. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They don't block people out completely. They simply determine what kind of treatment is allowed to enter your life. When you respect yourself, you send a clear message: I will not accept disrespect, I will not accept manipulation, and I will not accept less than honesty. This isn't about being cold or unkind. It's about knowing that your value is non-negotiable. People learn how to treat you by watching what you tolerate, and when you respect yourself enough to say no, to walk away, or to stand firm, you teach them that the old rules no longer apply. Self-respect makes boundaries easier to hold because they are no longer fueled by fear of losing someone, but by the strength of protecting yourself. You stop apologizing for saying no. You stop explaining why your limits matter. You stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first. That shift creates power because boundaries are not about controlling other people. They are about controlling your access, your time, and your energy. When you live without boundaries, you end up drained, resentful, and stuck in cycles of frustration. When you live with self-respect, you create a space where only healthy connections can survive. It doesn't mean everyone will like your boundaries. In fact, some will resist them, especially if they benefited from you having none. But the ones who truly respect you will respect your boundaries too. And in that balance, you find freedom. Freedom to choose who gets close, freedom to decide what deserves your energy, and freedom to live aligned with your worth. Control ends where confidence begins because confidence changes the balance of power. When you lack confidence, you become easy to influence, easy to manipulate, and easy to control. People sense hesitation, and they use it. They push your limits, question your choices, and steer you in directions that serve them, not you. But when you step into confidence, that dynamic shifts instantly. You no longer need someone else to tell you what to do, how to think, or who to be. You carry certainty within yourself, and certainty cannot be controlled. Confidence is not arrogance, it is clarity. It's knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will or will not accept. That clarity makes outside control impossible because you no longer rely on approval or validation. You stop asking permission to take up space. You stop waiting for someone to give you the green light. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Confidence sets you free from their grip because their opinions no longer define your worth. Control thrives on doubt. The moment you second guess yourself, You create room for someone else to step in and take the lead. Confidence closes that gap. It silences the noise and centers your focus. Instead of reacting to pressure, you respond with strength. Instead of following blindly, you decide with intention. People may still try to control you, but their attempts bounce off the armor of your self-belief. They can no longer convince you to settle for less, to abandon your values, or to betray yourself just to fit in. When confidence begins, you move differently. Your body language changes, your voice carries weight, your decisions hold power. You stop chasing people who don't value you, and you stop tolerating situations that drain you. That unshakable presence removes the leverage others once had. They can't guilt you, they can't pressure you, they can't steer you away from your path, because you know exactly where you're going and why. Confidence doesn't eliminate challenges, but it eliminates control. It ensures that no matter what comes, you are the one holding the steering wheel. And when you hold the wheel, no one else gets to decide the direction of your life. Respect is not given. It's demanded by how you carry yourself, because people learn how to treat you by the standards you set. You cannot simply hope for respect or wait for someone to hand it to you. Respect is not charity. It is earned through presence, energy, and the way you show up in the world. If you carry yourself with hesitation, people will treat you as uncertain. If you carry yourself with confidence, people will recognize strength. The way you stand, speak, and act sends signals long before your words do, and those signals teach others whether you demand respect or settle for less. Carrying yourself with self-respect doesn't mean being loud or forceful. It means moving with certainty, setting boundaries without apology, and living in alignment with your values. It's in the way you say no without guilt, in the way you hold eye contact, in the way you refuse to shrink when someone challenges you. People notice when you respect yourself, and their response adjusts accordingly. They learn that if they want access to you, they must bring respect to the table too. When you lack self-respect, others feel it. They see it in the way you tolerate mistreatment, in the way you over-explain, in the way you accept crumbs when you deserve more. And once they see it, they act on it. But the moment you carry yourself differently, you rewrite the rules. You stop begging for recognition and start commanding it by how you move. You don't ask people to treat you well. You show them through your actions that anything less will not be entertained. Respect is not about demanding obedience. It's about radiating dignity. People respect consistency. They respect discipline. They respect someone who refuses to compromise their worth. The way you carry yourself communicates all of this without a word. You set the tone. You decide the standard. You define the environment you allow around you. And the stronger you hold yourself, the more impossible it becomes for others to treat you with anything less than the respect you've already given to yourself. Respecting yourself is the foundation of real power, because without it, everything else you build is fragile. You can have success, recognition, and even influence, but if you don't respect yourself, all of it is unstable. It can be taken from you, manipulated, or destroyed, because your sense of worth isn't anchored within. It's dependent on what's happening outside of you. Real power starts when you decide that your value isn't negotiable, that your dignity isn't for sale, and that your boundaries aren't optional. Self-respect is the root from which confidence, resilience, and strength grow. When you respect yourself, you stop accepting treatment that doesn't align with your worth. You stop letting people drain you with their negativity, their disrespect, or their manipulation. You stop living for their approval because you already approve of yourself. That shift is everything. It means you are no longer operating from a place of need. You're operating from a place of strength. And strength is power. Respecting yourself creates boundaries that protect your energy. Without self-respect, you'll say yes when you want to say no. You'll stay in relationships that hurt you, and you'll tolerate environments that keep you small. But with self-respect, you make different choices. You walk away from what no longer serves you. You stand firm even when others push back. You understand that protecting your peace is more important than pleasing anyone else. That ability to stand firm is power because it means your life is no longer controlled by outside forces. It's directed by you. Power built on self-respect also changes how you carry yourself. It shows up in your posture, your voice, and your presence. You don't have to shout to be heard. Your energy does the talking. You don't have to demand respect with force. People naturally give it because they can feel that you won't accept less. This isn't arrogance. It's alignment. It's the quiet authority that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. And when you move with that kind of authority, people treat you differently. Respecting yourself also gives you freedom. Without it, you're trapped in cycles of needing validation, of chasing recognition, of adjusting yourself to fit someone else's expectations. That's not power, that's prison. But when you respect yourself, you free yourself from the need to be liked, from the pressure to explain, from the fear of being alone. You realize that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion. That realization is liberation, and liberation is power. Another reason self-respect is the foundation of power is that it builds unshakable confidence. Confidence isn't just believing you can achieve something. It's knowing that you deserve to achieve it. It's trusting that you are worthy of good things, worthy of love, worthy of success, and worthy of peace. When you respect yourself, you stop sabotaging your own potential. You stop questioning whether you belong. You stop doubting if you're enough. Instead, you start stepping into opportunities, taking risks, and holding yourself accountable because you know you're capable and deserving. That kind of confidence makes you unstoppable, and unstoppable people carry real power. Self-respect also fuels resilience. Life will test you. People will doubt you, criticize you, and sometimes betray you. Without self-respect, those moments break you because you take them as proof that you're not worthy. But with self-respect, those moments don't define you. They refine you. You see rejection not as a verdict, but as redirection. You see setbacks not as the end, but as lessons. You bounce back quicker, stronger, and smarter because you know your worth isn't tied to a single failure or a single opinion. That resilience is power because it makes you harder to break, harder to manipulate, harder to control. Respecting yourself also changes the relationships you allow in your life. When you respect yourself, you naturally attract people who respect you too. You stop entertaining toxic dynamics, and you stop tolerating half-hearted connections. You create space only for those who align with your values and treat you with the dignity you demand. That shift transforms your circle, your environment, and your energy. Power doesn't come from having more people around you. It comes from having the right people around you. And self-respect ensures that's what you build. Respecting yourself is also the foundation of discipline. When you respect yourself, you stop sabotaging your goals with excuses. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You stop quitting on your own potential. You understand that discipline is not punishment. It's proof of self-respect. Waking up early, working hard, taking care of your body, protecting your mental health. These aren't chores. They're acts of respect toward yourself. And discipline is power because it builds consistency, and consistency builds results. Finally, respecting yourself creates inner peace, and inner peace is the ultimate form of power. When you respect yourself, you don't need to fight for validation, argue for attention, or chase recognition. You move with calm certainty. You stay grounded even when others try to shake you. You stay centered even when life gets chaotic. That calm is powerful because it gives you clarity, and clarity gives you direction. It makes you a leader of yourself, and once you can lead yourself, no one else can lead you off course,